Hello students, today we will discuss maths portion of NTSC Stage 2 2020 question paper. So here is the first question. In this question we have given the value of x as root 5 minus root 2 divided by 2 times root of 3 plus root 5 minus root 2, and we need to find that value. So first of all what we will do, we will simplify the value of x. So here x is root 5 minus root 2 divided by 2 times of square root of 3 plus root 5 minus root 2. This is the value of x. Now to simplify this, we will multiply and divide this number by root 2. That is x equals to root 5 minus root 2 divided by 2 by root 2, and we should multiply this number by root 2 as we have divided this by root 2, so we should also multiply this. So this will be 6 plus 2 root 5 whole square root minus root 2. We can write this as root 5 minus root 2 divided by, now this expression 6 plus 2 root 5 is nothing but root 5 plus 1 whole square. So we can write this as root 5 plus 1 whole square square root, that is square and square root cancel each other. So it will be root 5 plus 1. So it is root 5 plus 1 minus root 2. Now on simplifying this, we get root 5 minus root 2 divided by 2 by root 2 is root 2. Root 2 into root 5, that is root 10. Then root 2 plus 1, that is root 2, and minus root 2. Here root 2 cancelled out each other. So finally we get root 5 minus root 2 divided by root of 10. So this is the value of x. Now we have to find the value of x root 10. X root 10 plus root 2 divided by x root 10 plus 2 root 5. X root 10 plus 2 root 5. Now on putting the value of x here, we get root 5 minus root 2 divided by root 10 into root 10, then plus root 2 whole divided by again x root 10, that is root 5 minus root 2 divided by 10 root 10 into root 10 plus 2 root 5 plus 2 root 5. So that expression, in that expression root 10 is cancelled out each other, and here also root 10 cancelled each other. So we can write this as root 5 minus root 2 plus root 2 divided by root 5 minus root 2, root 5 minus root 2 plus 2 root 5. So this can be written as root 5 divided by 3 root 5 minus root 2. Again we can rationalize this number. So to rationalize this number, we will multiply and divide this number by 3 root 5 plus root 2. So again 3 root 5 plus root 2. So finally we get root 5 into 3 root 5, that is 15. Root 5 into root 2, that is root 10, divided by a minus b into a plus b form, that is a square minus b square, that is 3 root 5 square minus root 2 square. So it is again 15 plus root 10 divided by 3 root 5 square, that is 45, and minus root 2 square, that is minus 2. So finally we get our answer, that is 15 plus root 10 upon 43, that is option number 3rd is the correct answer. Option 3rd is the correct answer. Next question is, on dividing a natural number x by 11, the remainder is 3. And on dividing the same number x by 17, the remainder is 9. The number x lies between 300 and 400 and we need to find the remainder when x is divided by 21. So first of all we need to find the value of x. So the given information here is when the natural number x is divided by 11, the remainder is 3. So by applying division algorithm we can write x is equals to 11a plus 3, where the number x is divided by 11. So x can be written as 11 into quotient, that is consider it as a. So here quotient is a and remainder is 3. Similarly, when we divide the number x by 17, the remainder is 9. So we can write this number as 17b plus 9, where again b is quotient and 9 is the remainder. So from these two equations, both these equations represent x. So we can write 11a plus 3, that will be equals to 17b plus 9. Or we can write 11a is equals to 17b plus 6. Now we will break this 17b in 11b and 6b. That is 17b equals to 11b plus 6b plus 6. So we can write this number as 11a equals to 11b plus 6 common, again b plus 1. Now this number 11a is a multiple of 11 and so RHS should also be a multiple of 11. Now this number is a multiple of 11 and this number should also be a multiple of 11, and 6 is not completely divisible by 11. So b plus 1 should be a multiple of 11. So we can write b plus 1 as a multiple of 11, that is 11k, where k belongs to any natural number. Now we can put the value of k here, put k equals to 1. When k equals to 1, then b is equals to 11 minus 1, that is 10. And when the value of b is 10, then we can find the value of x from equation 2. So x will be 17b plus 9, that is 179. But in the question it is given that the x lies between 300 and 400. So x cannot be 179. Now let's take another value of k, that is 2. So what we will do, we will put k equals to 2. So when k is equals to 2, then b is equals to 22 minus 1, that is 21. So again we will find x. So in this case x is 17b plus 9, that is 17 into 21 plus 9, that comes out to be 366. Now 366 is a number which lies between 300 and 400. So we can consider this as x. So the value of x comes out to be 366. And when 366 is divided by 21, then the remainder is 9. So option number first is the correct answer. That is remainder 9 is the correct answer. Option number first. Next question is, if ax plus b into x raised to power 5 plus 1 minus 5x plus 1 is divisible by x square plus 1, then we have to find the value of 2a plus 3b. That is, the given expression is completely divisible by x square plus 1 and we have to find the value of 2a plus 3b. So first of all we will simplify the given expression. So given expression is ax plus b multiply by x raised to power 5 plus 1 minus 5x plus 1. Now this can be simplified as a x raised to power 6 plus ax plus b x raised to power 5 plus b minus 5x minus 1. This can be again written as a x raised to power 6 plus b x raised to power 5, then plus a minus 5 into my x plus b minus 1. This is the given expression and this expression is completely divisible by x square plus 1. This expression is completely divisible by x square plus 1. So we can easily divide this expression by x square plus 1 by long division method. By long division method, we can find the remainder. I am not writing the complete steps of division here. I am just writing the remainder here, which comes out after applying long division method. That remainder is a minus 5 plus b into x plus b minus a minus 1. And we know that this expression is completely divisible by x square plus 1, so the remainder should be 0. Remainder should be 0, but on applying long division method, we get the remainder as a minus 5 plus b into x plus b minus a minus 1. So the remainder is 0, so the coefficient of x should be 0. That is, we can write a minus 5 plus b should be equals to 0. So from here we can write a plus b equals to 5. Again, the constant term b minus a minus 1 should also be 0. So again we can write b minus a minus 1 is 0. So we can write minus a plus b equals to 1. So on simplifying these two equations, this is equation number 1 and this is equation number 2. On simplifying this equation, we get b equals to 3 and a equals to 2. And finally, we have to find the value of 2a plus 3b. 2a plus 3b, where a is 2 and the value of b is 3. So 2 into 2, 4 and 3 into 3, 9, that is 13. So the value of 2a plus 3b is 13, which is option number 4. That is the correct answer. Next question is, suppose the graph of 15x plus 20y equals to minus 2 and x minus y equals to minus 2 intersect at a point P, and if the graph of 2x plus 3y equals to k square passes through P, then the value of k is. So first of all, we need to find the point of intersection P of the given two lines. Then the third line 2x plus 3y equals to k square will pass through that point P. So given equations are 15x plus 20y equals to minus 2, and second equation is x minus y equals to minus 2. So multiplying this equation by 15, we get 15x minus 15y equals to minus 30. Now subtracting equation number second from first, we get 15x cancel out each other, and that will be 20y minus of minus 15y, that is 35y, will be equals to 28. So y will be 28 upon 35. So it will be 4 by 5. Now on putting the value of y in any one equation, we get the value of x, that will be minus 6 by 5. So point of intersection of these lines will be minus 6 by 5 comma 4 by 5. This is the point of intersection P. Now the third line 2x plus 3y equals to k square, 2x plus 3y equals to k square will pass through that point P. So the value minus 6 by 5 and 4 by 5 will satisfy this equation. So we can put x equals to minus 6 by 5 and y equals to 4 by 5. That will be equals to k square. So we can write k square will be equals to minus 12 by 5 plus 12 by 5. So k square will be 0. So finally we get the value of k, that is 0. So we can say that k is an integer. So option number first is correct answer. Next question is from arithmetic progression, in which it is given that the sum of the squares of 3rd and 13th term is 5 and the product of 4th and the 12th term is r. We need to find the product of 3rd and the 13th term. So first of all, first information is the sum of the squares of 3rd and 13th term is 5. So we can write T3 square plus T13 square will be equals to 5. We know that nth term of an AP is A plus n minus 1 into D. So third term will be A plus 2D. Third term will be A plus 2D, where A is the first term and D is the common difference of the AP. So it is A plus 2D square, and 13th term will be A plus 12D square. That is equals to 5. On simplifying this, we get A square plus A square, that is 2A square. 4D square plus 144D square, that is 148D square. And 4AD and 24AD, that is 28AD, that will be equals to 5. And taking 2 as common, we get A square plus 74D square plus 14AD will be equals to 5 by 2. Or we can write A square plus 14AD, that will be equals to 5 by 2 minus 74D square. This is equation number first. Now second condition is the product of the fourth and 12th term is R. The product of fourth and 12th term is R. So fourth term can be written as A plus 3D and 12th term can be written as A plus 11D. That will be equals to R. On simplifying this, we get A square plus 11AD plus 3AD, that is 14AD plus 33D square. That will be equals to R. Now A square plus 14AD can be taken as 5 by 2 minus 74D square from equation first. So we can write it 5 by 2 minus 74D square plus 33D square will be equals to R. Or we can write it as 5 by 2 minus 41D square will be equals to R. From this, we can write the value of D square in terms of R. So D square will be 5 by 2 minus R by 41, that is 1 by 41 into 5 by 2 minus R. This is the value of D square. Let's say this is equation number 2. Now we have to find the product of third and the 13th term. That is, we have to find the value of T3 into T13. That will be A plus 2D multiplied by A plus 12D. So on simplifying this, we get A square plus 12AD plus 2AD, that is 14AD plus 24D square. Now A square plus 14AD can be taken as R minus 33D square. A square plus 14AD can be taken as R minus 33D square. So it is R minus 33D square plus 24D square. So we get R minus 9D square. This is R minus 9D square. So finally we get R minus 9 into D square. The value of D square is 1 by 41 into 5 by 2 minus R. So this is 1 by 41 into 5 by 2 minus R. On simplifying this, we get 100R minus 45 divided by 82, which is option number third. So option third is the correct answer. Next question is from quadratic equation, in which it is given that alpha and beta are the roots of the equation 2x square minus 5x minus 6 equals to 0. And a relation is given that P of n plus 1 is equals to alpha raised to power n minus beta raised to power n, and we have to find the value of P9 minus 3P7 upon 4P8. So first of all, the given equation is 2x square minus 5x minus 6 equals to 0. And the roots of this equation are alpha and beta. So when the root is alpha, then alpha will satisfy this equation. So we can write 2 alpha square minus 5 alpha minus 5 alpha minus 6 is equals to 0, or we can write that alpha square will be equals to 5 alpha plus 6 divided by 2. Similarly, beta square will be 5 beta plus 6 divided by 2. Now we have to find the value of P9 minus 3P7 upon 4P8. We have given the relation P of n plus 1. P of n plus 1 is alpha raised to power n minus beta raised to power n. So P9 will be for n equals to 8. So on putting n equals to 8, we get P9. That will be alpha raised to power 8 minus beta raised to power 8. So P9 will be alpha raised to power 8 minus beta raised to power 8 minus 3 times of P7. So again P7 will be for n equals to 6. So it will be alpha raised to power 6 minus beta raised to power 6 whole divided by 4P8, that is 4 into alpha raised to power 7 minus beta raised to power 7. Now rearranging these terms, we get alpha raised to power 8 minus 3 alpha raised to power 6 minus beta raised to power 8 minus, taking minus common, we get beta raised to power 8 minus 3 beta raised to power 6 whole divided by 4 times of alpha raised to power 7 minus beta raised to power 7. So taking alpha raised to power 6 common, we get alpha square minus 3 and minus beta raised to power 6 common, we get beta square minus 3 whole divided by 4 times of alpha raised to power 7 minus beta raised to power 7. Then substituting the value of alpha square as 5 alpha plus 6 upon 2, we get this is 5 alpha plus 6 divided by 2 minus 3 minus beta raised to power 6, and beta square will be 5 beta plus 6 upon 2. 5 beta plus 6 divided by 2 minus 3. So and divided by whole divided by 4 times of alpha raised to power 7 minus beta raised to power 7. So we can simplify this expression and we get alpha raised to power 6 upon 2 into 5 alpha minus beta raised to power 6 upon 2 into 5 beta whole divided by 4 into alpha raised to power 7 minus beta raised to power 7. Taking 5 by 2 common from the numerator, we get alpha raised to power 7 minus beta raised to power 7 whole divided by 4 times of alpha raised to power 7 minus beta raised to power 7. So alpha raised to power 7 minus beta raised to power 7 cancel out each other. So finally we get 5 by 2 into 4, that is 5 by 8. So this is our answer, 5 by 8, which is option number 2. Next question is from probability, in which it is given that a number is picked up at random from the numbers 1 to 1000. Then we have to find the probability that it is of the form m raised to power n, where m and n both are greater than 1. We have to find the probability that the number is of the form m raised to power n, where m and n both are greater than 1 and both belongs to integers. So first case will be 2 raised to power 2. We cannot take 1. So starting with the number 2 raised to power 2, we will count the total number of cases for the power 2. So 2 raised to power 2, 2 raised to power 3, 2 raised to power 4, 2 raised to power 5, up to we can take 2 raised to power 9, that is 512. 2 raised to power 10 will be greater than 1000. So total number of possible cases for this number 2 will be 8. Now we will count the possible number of cases for the number 3. So 3 square, 3 cube, 3 raised to power 4, 3 raised to power 5 and 3 raised to power 6, that is 729. And 3 raised to power 7 will be greater than 1000. So here the possible number of cases are 5. Then for the number 4, it is already included in the number 2. Then after that we will take the number 5. So 5 square, 5 cube, 125 and 5 raised to power 4, that is 625. That is total number of cases are here 3. As the number 5 raised to power 5 is greater than 1000. Now we will take the number 6. So 6 square, 6 cube and 6 raised to power 4 will be greater than 1000. So we will take only 2 cases here. Now for the number 7, 7 square and 7 cube, that 2 numbers will be there. Now for the number 8, we have already taken that cases in the number 2. So let's take another number 9, and 9 is 3 square, that is we have also taken the cases for the number 9. At last for 10, 10 square and 10 cube is exact 1000. So the number 10 raised to power 4 is greater than 1000. So only 2 cases are there. So total these cases are 8 and 5, 13, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So total 22 cases are there. Now other numbers are 11 square, 12 square, 13 square, 14 square, 15 square. Now we will not take 16 square, as 16 is a number which is equal to 2 raised to power 4 and we have already taken that cases. So after that 17 square and up to, this will be up to 31 square, as 31 square is 961. So from these numbers, the numbers that will be excluded are 16 square and next number will be 25 square. We cannot take this number as we have taken the cases for the number 5, that is this is number 25, this is 25 square. So 25 square we will not take as we have already taken this number. Now next number is 27 square. We will not take 27 square as we have already taken 27 square in the number 3 raised to power 6. So from 11 to 31 square, total number of possible cases are 18. Total number of possible cases are 18. So here the favorable number of outcomes are 22 plus 18. So we can write favorable outcomes are 22 plus 18, that is 40. And total possible outcomes, total possible outcomes that are 1 to 1000, that is 1000. So required probability will be 40 by 1000, that is 1 by 25. So option number 2 is the correct answer. Okay, so next question is, ABC be the vertices of a triangle ABC in which the coordinates of A, B and C are given, and a circle passes through the vertices of triangle ABC, and we need to find the area lying inside the circle but outside the triangle. So first of all we will draw a circle which passes through the vertices of a triangle ABC. Let this be the triangle ABC. This is A, this is B and this is vertex C. Here the coordinates of A are minus 5, 5. Coordinates of point B are 4, minus 5 and coordinates of C are 4, 5. Now we have to find the area which is lying inside the circle but outside the triangle, that is we have to find this area. So what we will do, first of all we will find the sides of the triangle. So the distance AB or length AB of the triangle is square root of 4 plus 5 square plus minus 5 square. That is, on calculating this, we get 10 square 100 and 9 square 81. So this is square root of 181. Similarly, the length BC of triangle will be square root of 4 minus 4 square plus minus 5 square. That is, this will be cancelled out and the remaining is 10 square. That is, finally we get 10. And the length AC is minus 5 minus 4 square plus 5 minus 5 square whole square root. So again 5 minus 5 cancelled and 9 square root is 9. So here clearly we can see that AB square is equals to BC square plus AC square. So here by converse of Pythagoras theorem we can say that it is a right angle triangle in which angle C is 90 degree. Angle C is 90 degree. So we can easily find the area of this triangle. So area of triangle ABC will be half into base into height. Half into base into height, that is half into 9 into 10. That will be 45 unit square. Okay, and the area of the circle, we need to find the area of the circle, and the radius of the circle is half of the hypotenuse. As the triangle is a right angle triangle and the circle is inscribed in this right angle triangle, so the radius of this triangle is half of hypotenuse, that is AB by 2, and AB is root 181. So the radius is root 181 by 2. So area of circle will be, area of circle is pi r square, and r square will be root 181 by 2 square. That is 181 pi by 4. 181 pi by 4. So the required area will be area of this circle minus area of triangle. Area of circle is 181 pi by 4, and minus area of triangle is 45. So this is our answer, which is option number 3rd. So option 3rd is the correct answer. Okay, let's see the next question. In the next question, we have given the coordinates of point A, B and C, and the coordinates of C are given in the form of K. We have to find the value of K for which the value of AC plus BC is minimum. So first of all, we will plot these given points on Cartesian coordinate plane. So let's say this is y-axis and this is x-axis. The given point is A, that is 7, 4 will lie near about this. So this is 7, 4, and point B is 3, 1. Point B is 3, 1, that will lie approximately here, that is 3, 1. Now the point C is 0, K, so x is 0, so we can say that this point will lie on y-axis. So let's say this point lies here, that is this is point C, whose coordinates are 0, K. Now to make the value AC plus BC minimum, we will first find the mirror image of this point A. So the mirror image of this point A will lie approximately here, that is with respect to y-axis, the mirror image of this point will be A dash, let's say it is A dash, whose coordinates will be minus 7, 4, which can be easily found. Now join AC and join, A dash C and join AC, and let's say this is point D, this point is point D. Now we can clearly see that AD is equals to A dash D, and these two angles are 90 degree and CD is common in both the triangles. So by SAS side congruency criteria, both these triangles are congruent. So both these triangles are congruent, so we can say that A dash C is equals to AC. We can write A dash C is equals to AC. Now what we need to do? We need to minimize the value of AC plus BC. AC plus BC, we have to minimize this value. So we can write AC as A dash C. AC is equals to A dash C. So we can write A dash C plus BC. Now this value will be minimum. A dash C plus BC will be minimum when the 3 points A dash C and B will be collinear. When these 3 points will be collinear, then the distance A dash C plus BC will be minimum. So we can say that the area formed by these points, or the area of the triangle formed by these points, should be 0. So we can write the area A dash CB should be 0. Area of triangle A dash CB should be equals to 0. And we have studied that how to find the area of a triangle whose 3 coordinates or whose 3 vertices are given. So we can easily find the area of this triangle. So after solving this, we get 10k minus 19 equals to 0. When we find the area, then this will be 10k minus 19, and that area should be 0 to minimize the value of A dash C plus BC. So from here we get k is equals to 19 by 10. So the value of k is 19 by 10, for which the value AC plus BC is minimum. So option number 2 is the correct answer. Next question is, two tangents PA and PB are drawn to a circle with center O from an external point P. The chord AB intersects the line segment PO at point Q, and we need to find the square of the radius of the circle. So first of all, we will draw a circle with center O. Let's say this is the center of the circle O, and from an external point P, two tangents are drawn to the circle at point A and B. So this is P, A is a tangent. Similarly, PB is a tangent. The chord AB intersects the line segment PO at point Q, and we need to find the radius, the square of the radius, that is R square. So we can clearly see that this angle will be 90 degree, as PA is equals to PB, because we know that the tangents drawn from an external point to a circle are equal in length, so PA is equals to PB. Similarly, OA is radius and OB is radius, so OA is equals to AB. So from here we can say that PBOA is a kite, and we know that the diagonals of a kite are perpendicular to each other, so this angle will be 90 degree. When this angle is 90, so this angle will also be 90. Let's say this angle is theta. Angle QAO is theta, then this angle will be 90 minus theta. And we know that tangent is perpendicular to the radius at the point of contact, so this angle will be 90 degree, and this angle is theta, so the remaining this angle will be 90 minus theta. This angle is 90, this angle is 90 minus theta, so that angle will be theta. Hence we can clearly see that angle OAQ is equals to angle APQ, which is equals to theta. So in triangle OQA, in triangle OQA and OAP, triangle OAP, we can see that angle in triangle OQA, angle OQA is 90 degree. Angle OQA is equals to angle OAP, which is 90 degree. And second information, angle OAQ, angle OAQ is equals to angle OPA, angle OPA, which we have proved to be theta. So these two angles are theta. Now by AA similarity criteria, we can write that triangle OQA is similar to triangle OAP. Triangle OQA is similar to triangle OAP. So when two triangles are similar, the ratio of their corresponding sides is also equal. So we can write OA upon OP is equals to OQ upon OA, or we can write OA square will be equals to OP into OQ, OP multiplied by OQ. Now what is OA here? OA is the radius of the circle, so we can write this as radius. So this is the radius of the circle, so square of the radius here is equals to OP into OQ, which is option number second. So option number second is the correct answer. In the next question, it is given that ABCD is a rectangle and we have to find the area of the shaded region. So first of all, we will draw the figure here. So ABCD is a rectangle given. This is a rectangle ABCD. Let's say this is point A, B, C and D. And another rectangle here it is given. Now we have given this figure and we have to find the area of this shaded part. Let's say this point is O and the dimensions are given as this is 8 cm and this length CD is 12 cm. Now what we will do here, another dimensions are given, that is 3 cm and that one is 2 cm. Let's say this is point R. First of all, we know that ARQP is given a rectangle. So this line AR is parallel to PQ. Similarly, ABCD is a rectangle. So line AD is parallel to BC. So we can write that PQ is parallel to BC. Now, when PQ is parallel to BC, then this angle will be equals to that angle, alternate interior angles. Similarly, this angle will be equals to this angle, that is again alternate interior angles. Now I am drawing this figure OQP. Again, this is triangle OQP or OPQ. And we have to find the area of this part. So what we will do here, we will draw a perpendicular from point O on OP and another perpendicular from O on line segment BC or side BC. Let's say this is point as L and M. Now clearly we can see that this angle is equals to this angle and that angle is equals to this angle. So these two triangles, triangle OCB is similar to triangle OPQ. By AA similarity criteria, we can write triangle OPQ is similar to triangle OCB. So we know that when two triangles are similar, the ratio of their corresponding sides is equal to the ratio of their altitudes. So we can write PQ upon BC will be equals to ratio of their altitudes. Now here altitude of triangle OPQ altitude is OL. So that one is OL upon triangle altitude of triangle OBC is OM. So we can write it as OM. Now when we draw perpendicular from this point Q on CD, then that length is 3 centimeter, this length is 3 centimeter. So the remaining length will be 9 centimeter. Remaining length is 9 centimeter. So again this length LM will be 9 centimeter. Here LM is 9 centimeter. So when we take OL as X, अगर हम OL को X consider कर लें, that part OL अगर इसको हम X consider कर लें, then that length OM will be 9 minus X. Length OM will be 9 minus X. So now PQ, which is 2 centimeter, as PQ AR is a rectangle, so AR is equals to PQ, which is equals to 2. So PQ is 2 and BC is given as 8 centimeter. So 2 by 8 is equals to OL, which we have considered as X. So this is X upon OM, which is 9 minus X. So we can find the value of X from this equation. So on cross multiplying it, we get 18 minus 2X is equals to 8X, or we can write 10X is equals to 18 or X equals to 9 by 5. So the value of X is 9 by 5, that is the length of altitude of this triangle OPQ is 9 by 5 centimeter. Now we have to find the area of this triangle, that is the base PQ here is 2 centimeter. So we can write PQ as 2 centimeter and we have to find the area of this triangle OPQ. So area triangle OPQ is half into base into height. So half into base, base is 2 into height. Height is OL, that is 9 by 5. So on simplifying this, we get the area of this triangle is 9 by 5 centimeter square, which is equals to 1.8 centimeter square, which is option number 4th, that is the correct answer. In the next question, we have given an isosceles triangle in which sides AB is equals to AC. Also, AE is equals to AF and angle BAE is equals to 40 degree. We need to find the measure of angle FEC. So first of all, we will draw the figure. Let's say this is triangle ABC, in which side AB is equals to AC and AE is equals to AF. AE is equals to AF. So we have given that side AB is equals to AC. So we can say that angle B is equals to angle C. Let's say this angle is X. So this angle will also be X. Similarly, we have given that side length AF is equals to AE. So also these two angles will be equal. Let's say this angle is Y. So this angle will also be Y. Now in triangle AEF, we can write this angle as 180 minus 2F. As the sum of the triangles or as the sum of the angles of a triangle is 180 degree. So we can write this angle as 180 minus 2y and this angle is given as 40 degree. So in triangle ABC, we can write angle A plus angle B plus angle C is 180. Angle A plus angle B plus angle C is 180 degree, angle sum property of a triangle. Here angle A is 40 plus 180 minus 2y. Angle A is 40 plus 180 minus 2y and angle B is X and angle C is also X. So X plus X is 2X, that is equals to 180 degree. So finally 180 cancelled out each other. So we get Y minus X is 20 degree. Let's say this is equation number 1. Now we have to find the value of angle FEC. The value of angle FEC. Let's say this angle is theta. Now on applying exterior angle property in triangle FEC, we can write that angle Y is equals to theta plus X. By external angle property or exterior angle property, we can write angle y is equals to theta plus angle x, or theta will be equals to y minus x, and we have already find the value of y minus x, which is 20 degree. So the value of angle FEC is 20 degree, which is option number 2. So option 2 is the correct answer. Next question is, in an equilateral triangle ABC, side BC is produced to point D and DF is perpendicular to AB, such that DF is intersecting AC at E. If BC equals to 2 CD and AF equals to 6 cm, then we have to find the length BF. So first of all, we will draw the figure which is already given in the question. Let's say this is triangle ABC. This is triangle A, B and C, ABC, and the side BC is produced to point D, and DF is perpendicular to AB. DF is perpendicular to AB, and these two lines are intersecting at point E. Now ABC is an equilateral triangle, so we can consider this angle as 60 degree. So angle B will be 60 degree, as the angle A, B and C all will be 60 degree. And we have given the relation that BC equals to 2 times of CD. Let's say CD be x. If CD is of length x, then the length of BC will be 2x. Also, if the length BC is 2x, then the length AB will also be 2x, as this is an equilateral triangle. So the length AB will be 2x, and so that complete length is 2x, and this is given that AF is equals to 6 cm. AF is equals to 6 cm, so the length BF will be 2x minus 6. Length BF will be 2x minus 6. So first of all, we can apply trigonometry in triangle FBD. So in triangle BDF, we can apply trigonometry and can write the value of cos 60. So cos 60 here will be base upon hypotenuse, that is 2x minus 6, 2x minus 6 upon hypotenuse, that is length BD, which is 2x plus x, that is 3x. And we know that cos 60 is 1 by 2. So 1 by 2 is equals to 2x minus 6 upon 3x this is 3x. On cross multiplying this, we get 3x equals to 4x minus 12, or we can write x equals to 12 centimeter. And we need to find the length BF. So the length BF is 2x minus 6, that is 2 into x is 12 minus 6, that is 24 minus 6, 18 centimeter. So the length of BF is 18 centimeter, which is option number 4. So option number 4 is the correct answer. Next question is, water is flowing at the rate of 10 centimeter per minute through a pipe of diameter 10 centimeter into an empty bucket, which is in the form of a frustum of a cone of height 30 centimeter with radii of its lower and upper end as 10 centimeter and 20 centimeter respectively. We need to find the time in which the level of the water in the bucket will rise 15 centimeter. So first of all, let's say this is a circular pipe or cylindrical pipe whose cross section is circular, and the radius of the circular end is 10 centimeter. Sorry, the diameter is 10 centimeter, the radius will be 5 centimeter, which is given. Water is flowing through this pipe into an empty bucket which is in the form of frustum. Let's say this is the bucket which is in the form of frustum. The height of this bucket is 30 centimeter. This height is 30 centimeter, and the radius of its lower end is 10 centimeter. Let's say this is R1, which is 10 centimeter, and the radius of the upper end is 20 centimeter, that is R2 equals to 20 centimeter, and this height is 30 centimeter. Now we need to find the time in which the height of the water will rise 15 centimeter. So let's say this is the height 15 centimeter. So we need to find the radius. We need to find the radius at this point or at this level of the bucket. So let's say this radius is r. So first of all, this height is 15 centimeter. So this height will be also be 15 centimeter. Now to find the radius r, we will draw another figure. Let's say this is our bucket in the form of frustum. This radius is 10 centimeter. This radius is given as 20 centimeter. And that height is and the level of the water is at 15 centimeter from the bottom. This level is 15 centimeter. So that length as the total height or the total height of the bucket is 30 centimeter. So this height will also be 15 centimeter. Now we need to find the radius of the bucket at the level of the water. Let's say this radius is r. Now to find this radius, we will complete this conical shape and join this line. Let's say this point is A, B, C, D, E, F and G. This point is G. And let's say the height or the length of the line segment AG is H. Now to find the radius r, we can clearly see that the triangle AGB is similar to triangle AED. Again, triangle AGB is similar to triangle AED as these all lines are parallel to each other. So we can write triangle AGB is similar to triangle AED. As these two triangles are similar, so the length or the ratio of their corresponding lengths will also be equal. So we can write h upon h plus 30, h upon h plus 30, that will be equals to 10 upon 20. That is 10 upon 20. So on simplifying this, we get this cancel out 2 times. So 2h will be equals to h plus 30 or h will be equals to 30 centimeter. Now the value of this height is 30 centimeter. This h is 30 centimeter. Now we can again see that triangle AGB is also similar to triangle AFC. Triangle AGB is again similar to triangle AFC. So again we can write h upon h plus 15, h upon h plus 15, that will be equals to 10 upon r, 10 divided by r. Now the value of h is 30 centimeter. So on putting the value 30 here, we get 30 upon 30 plus 15, 45, that will be equals to 10 by r. So this cancel out 3 times and 15. So r is equals to 15 centimeter. So the radius of the bucket at the level of the water is 15 centimeter. So this length is 15 centimeter or the radius of the bucket is 15 centimeter at the level of the water. Now we can write the volume of the water. We can write the volume of the water as we know that volume of frustum is 1 by 3 pi into h. The height of the water is 15 centimeter into r1 square, that is 10 square, plus r2 square, that is 15 square, plus r1 r2, that is 10 into 15. So that volume will be equals to the volume of water flow out of this pipe in time t. So the volume of the water flowing out of this pipe in time t will be, that volume will be area of cross section of the pipe, that is pi r square, pi into r square, radius is 5 centimeter, so it is 5 square, into speed of water, that is given as 10 centimeter per minute, multiply by the time in which the water is flowing, that is time t. Now both the volumes will be same, so we can write that 1 by 3 pi multiply by 15 multiply by 10 square 100 plus 15 square 225, that is 335 plus 150, that is 325 plus 150, that is 475. Now that will be equals to pi into 5 square, that is 25, multiply by 10t. So on simplifying this equation, we get the time is 19 by 2 minutes. On simplifying this equation, we get the time is 19 by 2 minutes, which is not matching with any option. So this question will be bonus, hence the answer is 19 by 2 minutes, and this question will be bonus. Next question is, the largest possible area of triangle ABC with side AB equals to 5 cm and the sum of the other two sides as 7 cm is. So we need to find the maximum area of the triangle. So let's say this is our triangle ABC. This is triangle ABC, in which side length AB is given as 5 cm and the sum of other two sides as 7 cm. So let's say the side length BC is x centimeter. So side length AC will be 7 minus x centimeter. So we need to find the area of this triangle. So first of all, to find the area, we can apply Heron's formula here. So here semi perimeter S will be 5 plus 7 divided by 2, that is 6. So semi perimeter is 6 centimeter, and the area of triangle ABC, will be S into S minus A into S minus B into S minus C whole square root. This is the area of triangle by Heron's formula. Now S is 6 centimeter, so 6 multiplied by 6 minus x into S is again 6 minus B, that is 6 minus 5, and 6 minus C, that is 6 minus 7 minus x whole square root. This is the area of this triangle. So on simplifying this, we get 6 into 6 minus x, this will be 1, and this expression is plus x minus 1. So this is x minus 1 whole square root. Again we can write this as 6 into minus x square and plus 6x plus x, that is plus 7x minus 6 whole square root. Now we have to find the maximum area of this triangle. To find the maximum area, the value of minus x square plus 7x minus 6 should be maximum. So to maximize the area, the value of minus x square plus 7x minus 6 should be maximum. And we know this is a quadratic polynomial whose coefficient of x square is negative. So the graph of this quadratic polynomial will be parabolic downwards, and the maximum value of this polynomial will be at the vertex of this polynomial, and we know the vertex of a quadratic polynomial is minus b by 2a and y coordinate is minus d by 4a, and the maximum value of this quadratic polynomial is minus d by 4a. So to maximize this value, we need to find the value of minus d by 4a. So the maximum value of this polynomial is minus d by 4a, and we know that here capital D is discriminant of the quadratic equation or quadratic polynomial, and a is the coefficient of x square. So minus of d is minus of b square minus 4ac divided by 4a, that is 4, multiply by a, that is minus 1. So minus cancel out each other. B square minus 4ac, b square is 49 minus 4ac, that is minus 4 into minus 1 into minus 6, that is minus 24 divided by 4. So this is 25 by 4. This is the maximum value of this quadratic polynomial, that is minus x square plus 7x minus 6. So the maximum area will be, so maximum area is 6 multiplied by 25 by 4, as the maximum value of this is 25 by 4. So to maximize the area, we need to put this value as 25 by 4 and this whole square root. On solving this, we get 5 root 6 by 2 centimeter square, which is the maximum area of this triangle. So option number second is the correct answer. Option number second. Okay, let's see the next question. In the next question, it is given that u equals to cos theta multiplied by sin theta plus square root of sin square theta plus sin square alpha. Then mod u is less than or equals to. We have to find the maximum value of mod u. We can say that. So let's solve this equation. Given that u equals to cos theta multiplied by sin theta plus square root of sin square theta plus sin square alpha. Sin square theta plus sin square alpha. Now taking cos theta in the LHS, we get u upon cos theta will be equals to sin theta plus sin square theta plus sin square alpha whole square root. Or we can write this u upon cos theta, that is u sec theta, as we know that 1 upon cos theta is sec theta. Again taking sin in the LHS, we get u sec theta minus sin theta will be equals to square root of sin square theta plus sin square alpha. Sin square theta plus sin square alpha. Now taking square on both sides, we get LHS will be u square sec square theta, u square sec square theta plus sin square theta minus 2u sec theta into sin theta, 2u sec theta into sin theta, that will be equals to sin square theta plus sin square alpha. Sin square theta plus sin square alpha. Now that sin square theta will cancel out each other, and sec square theta can be written as 1 plus tan square theta. So u square multiplied by 1 plus tan square theta minus 2u, we can write sec theta as 1 upon cos theta multiplied by sin theta, that is equals to sin square alpha. Sin square alpha. Again on simplifying this, we get u square tan square theta, u square tan square theta minus 2u sin theta upon cos theta is minus 2u tan theta, minus 2u tan theta plus u square minus sin square alpha, that will be equals to 0. Now this is a quadratic equation in tan theta, where tan theta belongs to real number. Here tan theta belongs to real number, so we can say the discriminant of this quadratic equation will be greater than equals to 0. So we can say that d is greater than equals to 0. Now the discriminant of this quadratic equation is b square minus 4ac, that is 4u square. We can write the discriminant as 4u square, that is b square minus 4ac. A is what? U square into c, that is u square minus sin square alpha. U square minus sin square alpha, that is greater than equals to 0. Or taking 4u square as common, we get 1 minus u square plus sin square alpha is greater than equals to 0. Now we know that 4u square is a perfect square, that is 2u whole square. So this number is always positive. This number is always positive. So the expression 1 minus u square plus sin square alpha, that should be greater than equals to 0. So we can write 1 minus u square plus sine square alpha should be greater than equals to 0, or we can say that u square should be less than equals to 1 plus sine square alpha. Taking u square in the RHS, we get u square is less than equals to 1 plus sine square alpha. On taking square root on both sides, we get u square root of u square is less than equals to 1 plus sine square alpha whole square root, and we know that the square root of u square is mod u. So mod u is less than or equals to 1 plus sine square alpha whole square root. So the value of mod u less than equals to is 1 plus sine square alpha whole square root, which is option number first. So option first is the correct answer. Next question is, two straight roads OA and OB intersect at point O. A tower is situated in the interior of the angle formed by them and subtends an angle of 45 degree and 30 degree at the points A and B respectively, where the roads are nearest to it. Nearest to it means the tower is at the perpendicular distance from the roads. That is, the nearest distance will be the perpendicular distance. If the distance OA and OB are small a and small b, then we need to find the height of the tower in terms of small a and small b. So let's say this is road OA and this is road OB. Let's say the tower is at point F, which is nearest to the roads. Nearest distance means this distance will be the perpendicular distance, that is this angle will be 90, and also this angle will be 90, that is FB is perpendicular to OB and FA is perpendicular to OA. Let the height of the tower be h. Let's say this is the height of the tower. If you assume this figure in 3 dimension, then this will be the height of the tower, and the angle of elevation from point A is 45 degree, which is given, and the angle of elevation from point B will be 30 degree. Let's say this is point G, and that angle will also be 90 degree, as the height of the tower will be perpendicular to the road. So again, let's say this distance OF is small d, and we need to find the value of h in terms of small a and small b, that is length OA is small a and length OB is small b, which is given. So first of all, we can apply trigonometry in triangle AFG. So in triangle AFG, we can write tan 45 degree will be equals to h upon AF, that is perpendicular upon base, that is h upon AF. And we know that the value of tan 45 is 1. So 1 is equals to h upon AF. So from there we can write AF is equals to h. So distance AF is h. Similarly, we can find the distance FB. So applying trigonometry in triangle BFG. In triangle BFG, we can write tan 30 degree will be equals to perpendicular upon base, that is h upon FB, and tan 30 is equals to 1 by root 3. So 1 by root 3 is equals to h upon FB, or we can write FB is equals to h root 3 or root 3h. Now in triangle OBF, we can apply Pythagoras theorem, as this angle is 90 degree. So in triangle OBF, distance small d square will be equals to b square plus fb square. Distance d square will be equals to b square plus fb square, and fb is root 3h. So this is root 3h square, as the distance fb is root 3h, which we have find here. So we can take the value of fb as root 3h. So we can write d square is equals to b square plus 3h square. Okay, So let's say this is equation number first, and again in triangle OFA, we can write d square is equals to a square plus h square by Pythagoras theorem. Now equation 1 and 2 are equal, as d square equals to a square plus h square and d square is equals to b square plus 3h square. So from equation first and second we can write b square plus 3h square is equals to a square plus h square, or we can write 2h square is equals to a square minus b square, or the value of h will be a square minus b square divided by 2 whole square root. So this is the height of the tower. So option number first is the correct answer. Next question is, ABCD is a square of side 8 cm. P is the midpoint of AD and is joined with the vertex B. A perpendicular is drawn from the vertex C on BP which intersects BP at point E. We need to find the area of the triangle BEC. So first of all we will draw the figure here. Let's say this is a square of side 8 cm. This is square ABCD. Of side 8 cm. So distance length AB is 8 cm. Similarly length BC is 8 cm. All lengths are 8 cm, and a point P is there in the mid of AD. That is, P is the midpoint of AD. So the distance AP is 4 cm and the distance DP is again 4 cm. Now according to question, join OP and draw a perpendicular from point C on BP which intersects BP at point E. So let's say this is point E, and we need to find the area of triangle BEC. That is, area of triangle BEC will be half into base into height, that is half into BE into EC. So we need to find the lengths BE and EC. So this angle is 90 degree. Let's say this angle is theta. This angle is 90 degree. So this angle will be 90 minus theta. This angle is 90 minus theta. Again, this complete angle is 90 and this angle is theta. So this angle will be 90 minus theta, and this angle is again 90. So this angle will be theta. So we can say the triangle BAP is similar to triangle CEB. Triangle BAP is similar to triangle CEB, and we can write that the ratio of the corresponding sides will be equal. So we can write AB upon CE is equals to AP upon BE is equals to BP upon BC. Now in triangle PAB, we can apply Pythagoras theorem and can find the length BP. So in triangle BAP, we can apply Pythagoras theorem. So distance or length BP square will be 8 square plus 4 square, that is 80. So this length BP will be 4 root 5. On taking a square root, length BP will be 4 root 5 centimeter. Now substituting the values in this equation, this is equation number first. Now AB upon CE, the distance AB is 8 upon CE. We need to find the value of CE. Distance AP is 4 upon BE. Again we need to find the length BE equals to BP upon BC. BP is 4 root 5. So this is 4 root 5 upon BC. BC is again 8 centimeter. Now from there we can find the length BE and CE. So we can write 8 upon CE is equals to, this will cancel out 2 times, so root 5 by 2. So from there we can write length CE will be 16 by root 5, 16 by root 5 centimeter, and again we need to find the length BE. So we can write 4 upon BE will be equals to root 5 by 2, root 5 upon 2. So the length BE is 8 by root 5, 8 by root 5, and we need to find the area triangle BEC. So area triangle BEC is equals to half into base into height, that is half into BE into EC. So half into BE is what? 8 upon root 5, and the length CE is 16 upon root 5, 16 upon root 5. So 2 cancel out 4 times, 16 4 is 64 by 5. So the area is 64 by 5 centimeter square, which is option number first. Let's see the next question. Next question is, the mean of three numbers is 10 more than the least number and 15 less than the greatest number. If the median of the three numbers is 5, then we need to find the sum of the squares of these numbers. So first of all, let the numbers be x1, x2 and x3, where x1 is less than x2 and x2 is less than x3. As the medians of this number is given as 5, so the middle number x2 will be 5, as this is the median of these numbers. And now the mean of these three numbers will be x1 plus x2 plus x3 divided by 3, and that will be equals to, the given information is the mean of the three numbers is 10 more than the least number. 10 more than the least number, that is least number is x1, so this is x1 plus 10. And also it is given that the mean of the three numbers is 15 less than the greatest number. So the greatest number is x3, so that number will be x3 minus 15. Now the value of x2 is 5, so we can write x1 plus 5 plus x3 equals to, for equation number first, this will be 3x1 plus 30. So on simplifying this, we get 2x1 minus x3 will be equals to minus 25. Let's say this is equation number 1. And on simplifying this and this, that is x1 plus 5, as the value of x2 is 5, plus x3, that will be equals to 3x3 minus 45, 15 into 3, 45. So again on simplifying this, we get 2x3 minus x1, that will be equals to 50. So this is equation number 2. As this is a pair of linear equations in two variables and we can easily solve it. So on solving equation first and second, on solving equation first and second, we get the value of x1 as 0 and the value of x3 is 25, and we already know the value of x2, that is 5, and we need to find the sum of squares of these numbers, that is we need to find x1 square plus x2 square plus x3 square. X1 is 0, so it is 0 square, x2 is 5, so it is 5 square, and x3 is 25, that is 25 square. So finally we get 650 as our answer, which is option number 2. Option 2 is the correct answer. Next question is, A and B are two metallic solid spheres such that the surface area of B is 800% more than that of A. If the volume of A is x% less than that of B, then the value of x is closest to. So first information here, it is given that the surface area of B is 900% of surface area of A, or we can write surface area of B is 9 times of surface area of A, 9 times the surface area of A. let's say RB is the radius of sphere B and RA is the radius of sphere A. So we can write surface area of B will be 4 pi RB square, that will be equals to 9 multiplied by surface area of A, that will be 4 pi RA square. So on simplifying this, we get RA square upon RB square is equals to 1 by 9, or we can write RA divided by RB is 1 by 3. So the ratio of their radius is 1:3. Now let's see the ratio of their volumes. Volume of A upon volume of B, that will be 4 by 3 pi RA cube upon 4 by 3 pi RB cube. Now 4 by 3 pi cancel out each other. So we get RA upon RB whole cube, and the ratio RA upon RB is 1 by 3. So we get this as 1 by 3 whole cube, that is 1 by 27. 1 by 27. So the ratio of volume of A upon volume of B is 1:27. Let's say volume of A is Y, so volume of B will be 27Y, and it is given that volume of A is X% less than that of B. So we can write that X% will be equals to volume of B minus volume of A upon volume of B, that is 27Y minus Y upon 27Y multiply by 100, as this is a percent. So we get X equals to 26Y upon 27Y, Y cancel out each other, multiply by 100, that is equals to 96.29%, which is closest to 96.3%, which is option number 4. So option 4 is the correct answer, which is 96.3%.